Good morning, my little ducklings. How are you this morning? Well, guess what? We are beginning lesson 11, and we are going to learn all about the mallard duck. I'm sure you guys have all seen them because they're all over California. So beginning, do you live close to water? It could be a lake or marsh, pond, or a stream, or even a swimming pool. If you live close to water, then chances are you have probably seen a mallard duck. Mallard ducks are considered to be the most abundant and widespread duck in the world. This common duck is found mainly in Europe, Asia, and North America. Not only are these ducks the most common wild ducks, they are also the most commonly hunted duck. Almost all ducks that are domesticated, meaning raised by humans, are related to the mallard duck. In other parts of the world, many wild ducks are also relatives of the mallard duck. The reason for this is because mallards are known for hybridizing. This means they mix with other species like the American black duck, mottled duck, the canvasback, Hawaiian ducks, and the Pacific black duck of Australia, just to name a few. This is the biggest threat to the mallard duck because as they mix breeds, they lose their distinct features. Now, if you look at the really, really pretty colors that they are, you're going to find out that the males are prettier than the females. So part of the reason these birds mix breeds is because how far they travel and how aggressive they are. They are migratory and will travel from upper parts of North America to the southern United States, Mexico, and Central America. So what's their appearance? What do they look like? Mallards have a very distinct look and are one of the easiest ducks to identify. They are a larger bird ranging 16 to 24 inches in length. What really sticks out, though, is the coloring of the male. Like many birds, the male has bright colors and markings to help them attract the females, while the females have simpler colors to help them blend in. Excuse me. The males have the head and the neck of the male mallard is a glossy green with a small white ring towards the base of his neck. Their bodies are brown with a white tail. They have 1 to 2 curled black tail feathers that are unique to male mallard ducks and easy to see. When they spread their wings, there is a strip of blue outlined by white stripes called a speculum. They also sport a bright yellow beak and orange webbed feet. I'm sure Mommy's showing you pictures. The females, oh my goodness, the female is generally smaller than the male and also more plain in her appearance. They are mainly brown all over with mottling in black and brown. They do have the same blue speculum on their wings, but their bills are usually more orange than yellow and often have some brown or gray. Their quack is usually louder than the male, excuse me, so you can even tell them apart by their sounds. Now, what do they eat? What is their diet? Well, you can often see mallards with their bottoms up in the air and their heads in the water. They don't dive into water, but they will submerge their heads to pick at seeds, aquatic vegetation, and even small water insects. They do love handouts from park visitors and will become very friendly with people once they know there is a constant handout of food for them. Most of the year, they prefer seeds and other vegetation. During mating season, they prefer animal matter like insects, earthworms, snails, and freshwater shrimp. Where do they live? What's their habitat? Mallards are widespread in wetland habitats and other forms of standing water. They prefer marshes, bogs, floodplains, beaver ponds, lakes, ponds, forms, estuaries, and yes, even the occasional swimming pool. They generally look for shallow ponds, marshes, or sheltered saltwater so that they can easily reach the vegetation on the bottom. While they do most of their foraging in the water, they will also graze on the land, eating grains and plants that they find. Sometimes they will even dig up roots to eat. What's their life cycle? How long do they live? Mallards live an average of 5 to 10 years and begin breeding at about 1 year old. They will usually only have one brood each year, but occasionally there is a second. They lay between 1 to 13 eggs in a brood. The eggs are larger, 2 to 2.5 inches in length and around 1.5 inches in width, and they are unmarked with a creamy to grayish green color. Males stay with the females until they lay their eggs in the spring. Then they leave with the other males to find a place to secretly molt. During molting, they lose all of their flight feathers as well as their beautiful green breeding feathers and can no longer fly until they grow back in. This takes about 3 to 4 weeks. They molt again in the fall and regrow their signature green feathers in preparation for breeding season. While the male is away, the female incubates the eggs, which of course means she sits on it. This takes about 26 to 30 days, and the female will build a nest while sitting on her eggs. She makes an indentation to lay her eggs on, and while she incubates them, she pulls vegetation from all around her to tuck around the eggs. She will then start plucking her own chest feathers to line the nest and keep the eggs warm. Once complete, her nest is a bowl about 1 to 6 inches deep and 6 to 9 inches across. Baby mallards are called ducklings, and once they hatch, it only takes 13 to 19 hours for them to be ready to leave the nest and go for a swim. Unlike a baby robin, they are born with feathers and open eyes. This is why they are in their eggs for nearly twice as long. Even though they are capable of leaving the nest and feeding themselves, they imprint on their mother and will stay with her until they are around 52 to 60 days old, at which time they take their first flight. So, kids, this is an activity break. Ducks are great swimmers from the time they are born. Take time to go swimming or fill a sink with water to do some experiments. Gather some items and place them in the water. What sinks and what floats? Why do you think some items float? Maybe you guys can do that in the bath tonight. There is an assignment. Mommy's going to have to give it to you because she's in charge. So it's time to work in your student notebooks. Listen to Mommy. Have a wonderful day. Take care of each other and know that Granny Patty loves you very much. Until next time, bye-bye.